Okay. So, let me open YouTube app on my phone and get to my channel. Make sure volume is off. Live chat. Hello, Steven. How's it going, Kevin? Well, Kevin, don't do anything illegal. Alright. So, we are playing the Disneyland Railroad Simulator. What is this? Ugh, I have a neighbor whose car has a really loud muffler. And it will set off car alarms. The muffler is so loud. Alright, let's see. Why is my live stream not keeping up with the chat? I'm sure other people have commented. I just saw it. Alright, so let's begin. You can, on this game, you can set up the locomotive to like slowly heat up and stuff like that, so you can start it from cold. But the thing is that takes like 3 hours, so I'm not going to do it. I don't think even if I wasn't doing a live stream, I still wouldn't do the 3-hour steam up procedure. It's just, it takes a long time, and there's a whole lot of nothing but just waiting for stuff to happen. So. So let's see. Controls. Train. Retlaw 2 frame. I like the Retlaw 1. I'm just setting up all the settings. Every time you start the game, you have to like change all the settings to how you want it. I think that's fine. We'll do E.P. Ripley today, so we'll do the dual chime whistle. Where is... Aha, there we go. Weather. I think the weather is fine as it is. Alright, let's get the... Where is it? 4. The automatic fireman to operate everything. Cool. We'll put him right there. Interesting. I didn't think that. Okay. So, one of the first things we have to do is to set up this here automatic oiler, or else the steam compressor will seize up without being properly oiled. Let's see. Turn it. No, not that way. It only needs to go a tiny little bit. I like to open the windows. I can look around too. This version of the game, I usually don't play it with the, what do you call it? The people that are in the game, because it slows the game down. But I thought, you know, it's been a really long time. Maybe it won't be so bad. And you guys might enjoy seeing people in the park instead of just, you know, like we normally do without it. like to be able to look up and see the... See, on the CK Holiday one, I can have my screen pretty much centered, and I can see the whistle and pull the whistle, but with the EP Ripley, I have to actually look up each time I want to pull the whistle, which can be a bit annoying. NPK, hello. John says, will we see the hidden posters in the tunnel in New Orleans Station? No, and that's actually just before Toontown Station. But no, we won't. There's only two options for Disneyland in 1955 or Disneyland in 1957. So there's no modern day Disneyland option for this game. So, we'll do that. F8 shows us the engine and the cars that we're pulling. We're pulling the Retlaw 1 cars that were originally at Disneyland in 1955, and one of the original 2 engines, EP Ripley. And this is how the backstage area of Disneyland looked in the mid-1950s. So, let's see. Oh, there's a lot of lag. This is going to be an issue. Whenever I play with the people in the park, it really adds to the lag. This game is not done by a professional game company. It's done by a fan named Preston, and this was all his work by himself, doing all this. As such, the game is not exactly... it's not very well designed for efficient operation when it comes to like the game itself. So this game tends to be really hard on the computer. Even with some of the best gaming computers, this game is pretty tough on the computer. So I might actually have to remove the people from the game, or else it will make it too difficult. Alright, so back to... We'll see how it goes. Alright.
Coming out.
So I have the automatic fireman right now operating the all the stuff the fireman needs to operate. That way I don't have to. David says, didn't you work on the Disneyland Railroad at one time? No, I did not. I wanted to, but I was never able to do it. You had to... So I tried to transfer into it, but you can't just transfer in. You have to first start off working either Jungle Cruise or Indiana Jones Adventure. So I moved to Indiana Jones Adventure, and I did that for 1 week, and it just wasn't the job for me, so I went back to the foods department. Okay, so... Brakes release. Let's go ahead and sometimes it takes a bit more. Come on, there we go. What I really like about this game is just, is like the controls here, because you can set it to, like, you drag the mouse to move the Johnson bar or the throttle or whatever, you know, all that stuff, depending on if the train is cold, because like right now we're starting off pretty cold, it hasn't run at all for the day, the controls will be more difficult, to pull on, and and you won't get as much of a response from the engine because, you know, all the joints and everything on the engine are cold and the lubricants are still sticky, you know, so you get all these reactions, which is pretty cool. But then after you run the game for a while, the engine, all the parts heat up, and then everything becomes faster and easier. You know, moving the throttle, moving the Johnson bar is faster. So that's kind of like one of those things that I find really interesting about this game. All right, I'm gonna do a quick blowdown. Oh, whoops, I didn't open the blowdown valve. It's been such a long time since I played this. A couple months, in fact. There we go. All right. I like to be able to see the speed that I'm going. You can start pulling the throttle more. Hello, Jeremy.
Okay.
If it starts lagging really bad, I'll have to quit and then unclick for the humans in the game. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. This is why I can never play with the human people in the park, because it just doesn't work. And my computer is a pretty powerful computer. So yeah, it's not gonna. Okay. Not windowed mode. Yeah, it's just, you know, trying to live stream and then having the people in the game at the same time, it just doesn't work. So this one down here shows you your water level, and you want the water in the locomotive to be between here and here. This would be the maximum right here. You do not want the water all the way up here. I haven't done this in a long time. Steven says, it's interesting to hear all the different terms used. I have the same when I'm working in the tram museum in Amsterdam. Huh. Yeah, I suppose there'd be a lot of different terminology used. Hello, Brian. I'm doing good. Okay, let us skedaddle. Say anything.
Pulling out.
There we go. Alright. I was like, he's supposed to say something when I tell him to depart. Hey, Mateo, how's it going? Just waiting for the conductor to ring the bell. Let me know it's okay to get going. Brakes empty. So what's interesting is a lot of people have seen my history video on the Disneyland Railroad, and you know, there's a part where I tell people that Disneyland Railroad, when it comes to the brakes, they use an old type of system called direct line braking. And I explained that with the Disneyland Railroad, if you want to slow the train down, you have to apply air brake pressure to the system in order for the brake shoes to be pushed against the wheels. And every time I talk about that, there are people who are like, that's not how air brakes work. And I'm like, well, if you listen to the video, I mentioned that it's an old type of system. You know, what people always describe to me is called the modern automatic air brake. And that did not always exist. Before there was the automatic air brake, there was the Westinghouse straight air brake system, which was not quite as safe. And it was really only efficient for trains with less than 13 cars that are being pulled behind it. And with that system, you apply air pressure to the system to slow the train down. But, well, like I said, it wasn't efficient with trains that were 13 cars or more, because it was a lot of weight, and that was a lot of air pressure that you had to you know, add to all the brake systems. So Westinghouse invented the automatic air brake, where it was exactly the opposite. There is always air in the system to release the brakes, and then when you want to apply the brakes, you release the air from the system, and that will apply the brakes. So that's one of those interesting things. Okay. Gonna do a blowdown now. Mateo says, when do they start using the bell signals? I actually don't know. I know that they're not original to the park. But the thing is I don't know when they started using them. Yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of the times, I can figure this stuff out. There's the cars moving. A lot of times I can figure this stuff out by looking at old photographs. But those little bell signals are so small that you can't really see them in the old photographs. When I'm outside of the locomotive cab like this, I actually cannot see the controls of the locomotive, so I can't control the locomotive right now. The locomotive is not being controlled by anybody right now, you guys, because I'm setting up the camera so you guys can see it. It's time to pull back on the Johnson bar a little bit. There we go. I'm listening for the sound. Because I can control the engine just by listening to it. I know when to do stuff. So I'm waiting to hear a certain sound. Now we're going to do just a quick run around the park before I actually stop at any stations. And that's just because I just find the engine runs better if you just run it around all the way once. So you'll notice that, you know, everything in the cab shakes. The Johnson bar is shaking from the motion of the eccentric rods and all that. So we are passing Fantasyland Station on our way around the park. So this is the north area of Tomorrowland. In 1957, which is the year that we're currently playing the game, there was nothing. It was just a dirt lot. I don't even think these trees were really here. If they were much smaller than this. They were probably bushes, to be totally honest. So, Steven, in the U.S., vacuum brakes were used. So, it's just that not every railroad used them, and it wasn't, like, standardized. I don't think braking systems really became standardized until the late 1800s. From the 1850s through to the 1880s, it was literally the Wild West. It was like, you know, anybody could use whatever system was necessary. So, but yeah, not all train system used vacuum brakes and such. And the vacuum brakes were not as reliable with the trains in the US, because again, the trains in the US were much heavier than the ones in the UK. They were much longer, you know, they pulled a lot more weight. So the vacuum brakes in the US did not work as well, and eventually we abandoned vacuum brakes altogether. We're currently traveling at about 12 feet per second, which is the speed that the Disneyland Railroad goes. Oh yeah, these old steam engines, yeah, endless power and torque. It's really amazing. What's kind of funny is over the years researching how the steam locomotives worked, and you know, it's interesting, you know, one of the main reasons why steam engines really needed to be replaced, besides you know, among the various reasons, was the fact that steam locomotives have varying torque. They don't have an equal amount of torque all the time. It wasn't constant. We're going to zoom past Main Street Station. See, I've removed the people from the game, and now the game runs a whole lot smoother, so sorry you guys. I wish that I could play the game with the people lining up and everything for the trains, but it just doesn't work too well. Now, I'm adjusting the switches around the park for the things that I will need. Yeah, we'll go that and that, because if I don't do it, we will derail. We're quickly approaching 14 feet per second and slowing. I forgot we were on a downward grade. Now we're at a flat grade. You're welcome, Andy. David Page says Fantasyland Station. That's now Toontown Station. I mean, technically, they're in two completely different spots of the park. The current Toontown Depot is located about 200 feet further north. So, yeah, it's a bit of a distance from the original Fantasyland Depot. Because the tracks around the park have been realigned a lot over the years to expand the park. So they're currently the only section of track on the Disneyland Railroad that is still going along the original route is only the segment at Main Street Station. Everything else has been completely realigned. Now we're going along the Rivers of America. Again, this is 1957, so most of the park, you know, the backwoods area, all that is just dirt and trees and bushes. There's really not much to see in Disneyland at the time. Pretty cool view. Now you can see, watch this gauge here. This is for the brakes. So we're going to apply air pressure to the system to slow the train down. They need a lot more than that. Okay, too much. We might be able to coast to a stop at the right spot. There's these bushes up here. My driving wheels have to line up with the bushes in order for the train to come in for a proper stop. So we'll be waiting for the conductor to give me the go-ahead. Meanwhile... Oh, I need to... We're going to be stopping at Main Street, so 3 and 4, that's fine. We'll stop at Frontierland too, so 5 and 6. Everything else is good. So Petros King says, Alex, how did you learn so much about Are we not moving? How did you learn so much about locomotives? Seems like there's so much involved. You know, when you just get interested in a topic, you end up just researching it. Are we already in dead center? Usually that doesn't... Oh, alright. Alright, so the locomotive has reached dead center, so I have to roll it backwards to get it out of dead center. That's where the eccentric rods underneath the locomotive, they've reached a certain spot. Even the driving rods, they've also reached a certain spot where the forces to turn the wheels, it's not going to happen in the forward motion. So see, there we go. I like to go almost a foot. I know you can go like a few inches, but that almost never works. There we go. Mateo says, I just realized, how did How did the finagle operations to allow the passenger train's locomotive to take on water back when it only stopped at Main Street? What? Oh, how did they refill the EP Ripley if it only stopped at Main Street? It's because it didn't only stop at Main Street. It only stopped at Main Street during like its normal tour of the park. But if they needed to take on water, which was about once every 5 to 6 laps, then what they would do is they would tell everybody on board that they need to take on water. So they will actually be making a pit stop at Frontierland Station. And then they would take on water at Frontierland while the freight train was going around the park. So if they needed water, they stopped at Frontierland. So there's actually photographs of the EP Ripley pulling this exact train, pulling into Frontierland Depot to take on water. Oops, that was too far. There's kind of a... You can't tell, but there's an upwards grade here. So always trying to you know, really go up the grade. And it's a sharp turn too. So that turn creates a lot of force against the train, and you have to overcome it when you're starting from a standing stop at Fantasyland. Hey Eric, how's it going? No tea right now. It's not tea time. Well, actually, it will be in like 20 minutes, but this is train time for me. All right, so now I can kind of we can hook up the Johnson bar a little bit more. So that's Tomorrowland. That's Autopia next to us. No cars running. Though you can hear the audio of the cars running sometimes. And we're coming along the main area of Tomorrowland. That's the TWA rocket for the Rocket to the Moon attraction. The Flight to the Moon. Well, it was called Rocket to the Moon at one point, so... Going 12 feet per second on our way to Main Street. Disney fan says, hello, David here from Sebring, Florida. I've been a Disneyland fan and collector for over 50 years. Awesome, hello. And hello, Daniel. Jeremy says, there were a couple of old cabins in the front back then, I thought. In the front? If you mean along the river, in 1957, I don't think there was a cabin. I think in 1958 is when they introduced the cabin. It might have been late 57, but nevertheless, this there are things missing from the park in this game that would have been there in 1957. So when it comes to the park layout, there are things missing from this game. Was a pretty rough stop. Let's see. So that's Main Street there. I'll try to read some comments here. Sounds good, Eric. A101A says, how accurate is the Steam sim in this game? The most accurate of any game I've ever seen. It is the most accurate. And keep in mind, it is accurate to how the Disneyland Railroad ran.
Ready.
So if I wanted, I could operate all of the controls for the fireman position. Literally everything on this engine is completely accurate. All the valves, everything works and does the job it's meant to do. And if you don't run the locomotive properly, the game will crash. So you have to actually know what you're doing in order to play this game. Are we... Oh... Didn't release the brakes here. That's this button here that I'm pressing down is the quick release, and then this one here, if you press the handle all the way forward, it's the slow release. So, okay, now we'll try. I'm looking at the corner of the screen to see the fence is going past me. So we are moving. If I were to pull too hard, watch. The wheels are slipping on the locomotive. I can even show you. Let's see. See that? That is accurate. Oops. So that was just a little something to show you guys. So we'll fly over the park. The park is not complete in this game because the game is about running the locomotives, not running a theme park. So, all the focus has been put on making sure that that the locomotives operate properly. That's Jungle Cruise next to us. So if I wanted, I could move these levers here and inject water into the boiler. Of course, I have that automatically done by the... I have the automatic fireman turned on, so I don't have to worry about firing the locomotive. It just makes it easier for me. But yeah, this is 100% accurate. So we'll be pulling into Frontierland Station. I believe because I might need to take on some water. hope I lined that up correctly. Let's get the, if the conductor says we gotta go, I'm gonna ignore him, because I do need to get water and it will take more time. So, let's see if I lined that up correctly. I did not. Nice. Okay. So to activate the water tower... No. Oh. Water is full. I guess I didn't need to take on water. Alright, well, I can still show you the water tower anyway, because it doesn't do anything wrong to the... I always forget which one the water tower is on. Mateo, if you're still watching, could you tell me which one of these panels the... Wait, do you even play this game? I forgot. I thought Mateo did. I don't remember which one of these is for the water tower. There's like a button that you click somewhere. But I do need to open the... Yeah, you don't play the game, I forgot. Okay, so there is a button to open the water hatch, and then there's a button to activate the water tower. And I don't remember which one of these pages it's on. Is it? Ah, there we go. Activate water tower, but how do I open the hatch? Okay, well, I don't remember how to open the hatch, but we'll go ahead and just show you how the water tower works. So just pretend that I opened the hatch. So it's just a little animation. I don't remember how long it runs, but it runs on its own. Alright, oh, I know why that's happening. I never told the firemen to to prepare prepare to stop. Okay. I think we're still on prepare to depart.
Got it.
Alright, brakes released. There's short buttons for your keyboard so you can activate like the whistle. Like the space bar is the whistle. But you can also pull the whistle using your mouse. So like I was saying in the beginning of the stream, this thing is pretty accurate. If you wanted to do the full 3-hour steam up procedure to steam up the locomotive and do everything yourself, you can in this game if you want. There's quick buttons. So you can set the engine to cold and then you can fire it up yourself. You know, setting up, you know, there's a air compressor for injecting air into the my brain's not functioning, but you know what I mean. And then there's other quick buttons for setting the engine to warm or setting it ready to pull, so that way you don't have to worry about setting up the engine. See those green pilot flags? I can change those to American flags. All kinds of stuff. There's a metal running board. You can use a wood running board. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that was wood. Now it's metal. So you can customize. Show oil can. There's the oil can. Use armrests. I don't like using the armrests, but because it just blocks more of my view. But yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Ready.
And you can actually feel when you're pulling a heavy train. Like, let's say it's fully loaded, because it will simulate the load. You can feel when you're pulling a heavy train. It is very different to get a heavy train started than a light train, which is what's pretty cool about this game. And I'm going to listen for the sound of the engine. Yep. Now I can pull back on the Johnson bar. Pull back on the throttle a bit. So you use the sound of the engine to know when to do what you need to do. So, so there's the cabin. Right there. The burning settler's cabin. Okay. California Coast Rail Action says E.P. Ripley, my favorite. Yep, it's mine too. See you later, Eric. Alright, so now we can see the train coming around the bend. We can go a bit faster. In fact, I think we are pulling a heavy train. Oh, actually, no, we're not. We're just sluggish. So once it passes 10 feet per second, I can pull back on a Johnson bar again. We call that hooking up, so we can hook up one more time. sound of the engine will change again. Yeah, it's not going to do it. And we're already ready to stop, so... So the fireman is operating the bell, but I can operate the bell too. With the B button, or you can actually pull the rope. Oh, I should be stopping. I'm just slowly applying air pressure to the system. Oops. Okay, we are stopped. I need to check on the train. So, status, atomizer, oil pressure. I don't. The fireman will handle that. So let's see how the lubrication level is doing, because you do have to keep track of that. If you don't keep track of that, it's full. See the black line? Now, I can also check the water level in the boiler, and I can ask the fireman to do it too, and let's see if he lies to me. He doesn't lie.
1.5 nut.
And he's right. 1.5 nut. So, what do you say we change the time of day? That should be good. Sunset. We could do nighttime too. We can also change the weather. So, let's see. Well, anyway. I could do everything from a snowstorm to a complete rainstorm and like complete crazy. What weather should I do, you guys? Any weather, literally any weather. Except a blizzard. I can't do a blizzard, but any weather. Let me know. Okay, so let's get this train moving. Turn on the flashlight so I can see what I'm doing.
Pulling out.
So when I tell the fireman that we have to depart, basically what that means is he will build up what we call a head of steam. So he's actually adjusting these knobs. You might even be able to see them moving slightly. He's just adjusting them ever so slightly, so that way we can build up more steam pressure. He's also going to be adjusting. That's the fuel handle right there. I could adjust all that myself if I wanted, but again, it's easier to have him doing it. All right, here we go. We got thunderstorm, we got snow. Oh, I need to turn on the headlight. There we go. That way we can see where we're going. I have to try to gain speed to get up this curve here. Main narrow gauge says, what PSI does this locomotive run at? In the past, oh, that reminds me, I gotta tell him to set to drifting.
Ready?
So, in the past, its operating PSI pressure was 125 PSI. But today, it has been completely rebuilt, and it's still in its testing phases after coming back from a rebuild. But it's been, the boiler has been, a brand new boiler has been built for it to allow the locomotive to run at 150 PSI today. Because today, there is a steeper grade near the rivers of America than there used to be. It's a 1.5% grade, which Disneyland Railroad used to only have 1% grades. And as well as the fact that people are getting heavier. So the trains are getting harder to operate. So they've been rebuilding the boilers of 1 and 2 in order to allow for better operation. Okay, so when we stop at Main Street, we will change the weather. We'll do a thunderstorm, and then maybe we'll move on to a snowstorm when we get back to Main Street. So yeah, I can simulate all kinds of weather. And actually, the weather engine isn't just for looks, actually. The weather engine's really cool because weather affects steam operation. And so if you have a really hot day, you know, I don't want to go through all of it, but weather affects steam operation. And so one of the best examples of that is rain will make the rails slicker. So we'll be more likely to slip the wheels on the track. And so I'll need to use my sander, which is down here. It's a little button. And, yeah. See what it's gonna be a rough stop. Oh, probably not, actually. Looks like we're gonna be stopping pretty smoothly and in the correct spot too. Oops. Okay. So let me adjust the map, because we're not going to be stopping at Frontierland Station this time, because in actuality we would not have been doing that. Well, in 1957 I guess we would, but we're not going to do that now. No. But what I will do is I will show you, where are we? Frontierland? Okay. I'll show you what Main Street Station looks like in Sunset. There's Frontierland Station in Sunset. Go. You can actually see the shadows rising because the sun is setting in the game. It really is. So you can actually see the shadows rising on the building. Tucson Train Chasers. This is the Disneyland Railroad Simulator. The link to it is in the description below. So you guys can actually buy this game yourself and run it on your computers if you wanted. It's time to go. Let's change the weather. So we'll simulate a storm. We're going to need tropical weather, so we're going to raise the heat up a lot. Let's see. I'm going to do full clouds, full rain, and raise the atmosphere. Oh, is it low pressure that creates? It's low pressure that creates the high wind. Waiting for the lightning. There we go. That's lightning. Alright, and we will set the time to... We'll do nighttime. Make it scary. Alright. Let's see here. Alright.
Coming out.
Can't see anything. Johnson bar, full forward. And then brakes release. Okay. Oops. Yeah, already wheel slip. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Okay. I'm pressing down the sander. I actually do need to use the sander quite a lot during a thunderstorm. And if I do that... So if I hold down on the sander with my right mouse button, and then I keep holding it down and then move the mouse away, it'll hold down the sander for a few seconds. Just a few. Enough for me to adjust the speed, the throttle, sorry. There we go. I think that should be enough. I don't think we'll slip anymore. Mainly narrow-minded says, I forget, have you mentioned the main narrow gauge railroads before? Yeah, I've done videos about them. Or not about them, but videos that feature information about them quite heavily. So yeah. Going through Adventureland. Frontierland Depot ahead of us. I can actually hear that the train needs to blow down because when I pull on the whistle, you can hear a slight hiss in there. You can hear it go like that, so listen. So like that. So the engine will need to be blown down. I don't want to do it right here. Oh, why not? It's not going to kill anybody. So this is the blowdown valve. When we blow down, you can actually see the steam. Well, I guess the hill's blocking the steam right now, but that steam's from the air compressor. Yeah, you can't really see the steam from the blowdown because we're right next to the hill, so the steam's just going into the hillside. But now we are we're passing Fowler's Harbor on our way to the Rivers of America. I think we can go faster. Just move the Johnson bar by just a matter of inches, not very much. We can see the burning cabin from here. So I was able to give us a thunderstorm, but I don't know. There's a certain setting where you can get the high winds as well, but I don't know where. So we're gonna try to go a little bit fast. Oh, right, we're stopping at Fantasyland Station. Hello, Rayanne. How's it going? Okay, let's see here. Main Street Station and the rain and the storm and all that stuff. Again, the park isn't fully complete in the game because the game is more about running the railroad than it is about running the park. When I move quickly, it speeds up the audio. Kevin, yes, we are running the EP Ripley right now. We can actually switch to CK Holiday really easily. We'll switch to CK Holiday real quick. We can also change. Now we're CK Holiday. Let's go ahead and change the whistle to single trip.
Coming out.
Where's the? Oh yeah, right. It's right here. The whistle sounds were actually the whistle sounds and the bell and a lot of the sound effects of what's going on in the cab was all recorded at Disneyland from the actual engines. So that's a pretty cool little treat for you guys. Oh, I forgot. I need. Oh no, we're not moving. Center. Okay, so we've reached dead center again. Gotta roll us out of it. This is gonna be difficult because now I have to roll us out of it while using the sander. Forgot to stop the engine. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Yes. Oops, come on. Don't slip on me. So that when it does that, it's slipping. The wheels are slipping. There's the wheels down there. K4RNA says the rain is going to cool the steam pressure. Indeed, and so the firemen will have to work extra hard to keep the steam pressure up. That's Autopia to our right. These original lampposts from Autopia can be found actually at the current Tomorrowland train station at Disneyland. It's the last 4 of them that remain. There's Tomorrowland off to our right. Ash and Steam says, I have 2 questions. Do the water glass shutoff valves actually shut off the glass? And can the boiler explode? The boiler can simulate an explosion. You will not see it explode. There's no graphics for it. But it will simulate an explosion if you do something wrong. And yes, hold on. And yes, the water glass, what do you call it? We can actually do that right now. So, see, I've emptied the water glass to clear it of sediment. So you can do that. The other thing you can do is these valves here, if you shut them off, it will affect, see how the water is rising? Because I've shut off this part of the valve. So if I reopen that, you can see the water will drop to normal levels. Same thing happens with, where's the other valve? This one. Doing that will give you an inaccurate reading. There goes the blue, like that. So let's open that up again. There you go. This here is, let's see. I always get the 2 confused. Okay, so this is the... I want to confidently say that's the blower valve, and then that is the atomizer valve. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the atomizer valve, because I can see it moving. The fireman is moving it for me. Okay. We're pulling into Main Street Station now. Good. That one off. That one off. So you can set the expertise level of the fireman, and I did not make him a full expert, so he will be making mistakes, and that's why the pop valve is constantly going off, because he's not doing his job right. So that helps add an extra level of difficulty for certain things. You know, if he's not operating the fire right. It can affect how we run the engine. Cool. All right, so let's go to Main Street. Go ahead and adjust the weather again. So now we will make it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. There we go. So we can make it snow, but we can't make the snow stick to the ground. That is beyond our control. Alright. Time to get going. Oh, you want to see the bell ring? There's a shortcut for when I'm not on the engine. And it doesn't... It's not like a... Like, if I press the button once, eventually the bell will stop ringing. So, hold on. When it stops ringing, I'll press the bell again. All right, let's just say it stopped. Now pull, and then it'll slowly, you know, it'll stop swinging eventually. But if you get a good rhythm on it, you can make it... See, I'm pressing the button every time the bell's yoke goes forward. That way it pulls back on the bell. And so it's a varying graphic, essentially. And then there's a space bar for the whistle if I don't feel like pulling the whistle myself. So there you go. It is time to depart.
Pulling out.
Oops. Well, geez. I guess the track is slippery. Radio Isotopics says, can you next try to run with one of the Fornies? No, there are only 2 locomotives available in this game. CK Holliday and E.P. Ripley. That's it. Ash and Steam. Yeah, it's really cool. If you want to run a 440, a very authentic 440, this is the game to do it. I think I don't need the sander anymore now. There we go. Kevin says, where was that bypass track in front of Main Street operated? So in real life, the conductor crew would have to go out there and manually switch the track. In the game, if that's what you're asking, in the game you press F2 and you can actually adjust the switches across the entire thing. So we can pull into Frontierland Depot if we so wanted. And you can derail the train in this game too, if you're not careful. Derailing, there's no going back from it. You have to start over the whole game if you derail the train. Although I've never derailed the train from going too fast or anything.
Ready.
Oh, I still have the throttle open. My God. Jeez, I'm really rusty at this. Okay. Right here. There we go. Let's see if we can show you guys what the blowdown looks like. So, yeah. So it's a pretty cool game. Let's go ahead and turn off the headlight. We don't need that on.
Coming out.
Chris says, "Hey Alex, how fast could this type of steam locomotive go?" So in this scale, the Disneyland Railroad is built in 5/8 scale. So this locomotive, the CK Holliday, is 5/8 scale. The wheels are 36 inches in diameter. So, based off of the wheel size, they say that that with the diameter of the wheels, that kind of dictates, generally speaking, the maximum speed of a locomotive. So the CK Holliday could technically go 36 miles an hour if all the conditions were right. That would be the CK Holliday's maximum speed. So I imagine if you have like a full-size locomotive, full-size, full-size 440 with 50-inch wheels or something like that, you could go 50 miles an hour, I guess. But all that really depends on the locomotive itself.
Shutting down.
Railfan Moy says, "Is the valve gear animated correctly?" So I have never been able to actually see that, because when I pull out of the engine this way, we can see the wheels moving, but we don't have we can't see the valve gear from here. So I actually don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know. I can't see the valve gear from here. I've tried looking, but everything gets in the way, so I can't really see it. And then the CK Holliday has 2 air tanks on board, one in the back and one in between the wheels. So actually, even with the valve gear there, you can't see it because the black tank is there. So it just makes everything look too dark. So, yeah, I actually don't know. But yeah, the wheels will move accurately, at least, to the speed you're going. Ash says, "Can you quill the whistle?" I don't know what that means. Could you explain? Not a Morning Dragon says, "Is there a castle or Main Street or parades?" There is a castle. There is a Main Street. There are no parades, though. If you have a computer that is strong enough, you can actually click an option that will allow you to see people in the park. I tried that at the beginning of the stream, but trying to live stream on the same computer that I'm playing the game with, it just wasn't working. It was really lagging pretty badly, so I actually removed the people from the park to make the game run smoother. Because this game is not... again, this game was made by a person who does not normally build video games for a living. So, Preston, so his ability to optimize the game for better gameplay was not possible. He couldn't optimize the game very well. So I'm sure that if a large company were to want to adopt this game, they could optimize it way better, make it run easier on most people's computers. But I have a pretty powerful gaming computer compared to the average person, and it's still difficult. It's really difficult to play this game sometimes. But it is fun when it works. Okay. On a Morning Dragon says, I rode the Disneyland Railroad. This looks a lot cooler than what I saw when I went there. Really? I think this looks not as cool as what exists there today. Because this is Disneyland in 1957, so there's nothing to see. At least Disneyland today, there's a lot of stuff to see. So I'm pulling into the station here. Ash says it means changing its pitch in a smooth way. Single chime whistles generally are incapable of being quilled, but 2 and 6 chime whistles can do it. Well then in that case, no. I can change... Like, I'll show you in a second. I can't multitask. I'm trying to pull the engine in for a smooth stop. Alright, so let me show you what we can do with the whistle. So it's a varying, well, I'll just show you. I gotta tell the fireman to...
Ready.
Okay. So, and then, so like, you can practice your whistling like this. So, yeah. And then if I switch to the dual chime... There's a dual chime. Yeah, so that's what we can do with the whistle, but any other tricks, I don't think it can be done. Time to get going.
Pulling out.
You can actually make the automatic fireman get a bit annoyed with you. You can hear it in his voice sometimes, because if you're constantly telling him what to do, like, let me show you.
Stopping. Pulling out. Shutting down. Ready.
Oh, he's not doing it. I think he knows I'm doing it. Okay. Oh, jeez, I keep forgetting the tracks are wet. So I'll show you what it looks like. Oh, jeez, I can't do it with the sander. Come on. I'll show you what the wheels look like when they slip. Jeez. Jeez. So Kevin says, I play a good bit of simulators, and that's generally the case with all of them. Very poor optimization. Yeah. So I don't think I need the sander anymore now. We got moving pretty well. There's the train behind us. We gotta get over the hill, so we gotta hurry up. Because if we get stuck on that hill, you guys, I've gotten stuck on this hill before. And it is a pain because there's a spot where the train just does not want to move forward or reverse. You get stuck there. So we have to really rocket up this hill here. Alexander Thomas says, love your channel's name. My name is Alexander. Your video on the Disneyland Railroad was awesome. One of the few YouTube videos I've watched twice. I used to play Microsoft Train Simulator. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the donation. Yeah, I worked really hard on that video. There we go. Now we're going fast. Once we pass this hill here, then we'll level out, and I can... Well, actually, let's run the train fast. What we'll do is we'll go on the passing tracks of Main Street Station. There we go. Maybe we'll even derail the train for you guys and for us to end the live stream. That's what I usually do when I play this simulator on this channel, is we'll derail the train at the end. You can see the train coming, all this steam just billowing out of the engine. That's the other thing too. If you set the weather to really hot or warm or, you know, or humid, you'll see less steam coming out of the train, because that's what happens in real life. You know, the steam gets quickly absorbed by the atmosphere. If you put really humid, you'll see more steam. But if you put, you know, really hot, really dry, you'll see less steam because it gets immediately absorbed by the atmosphere. So we'll see the train coming around the bend. We're going the maximum speed we can go with the load that's behind us. Now, if we didn't have any of the cars behind us, we could go a bit faster. So what we'll do is we'll go around one lap at full speed, and when we come back to Main Street, we'll derail the train. So to derail the train, we'll have to change the track switch at Main Street Station. So that would be 3 and 4. We'll do... So we have to derail at 4. There we go. That will derail us. Look how fast. Ugh. We're just billowing steam into the air. Let's see what happens if we lighten the load. Train load. Empty. We can also do less cars, so let's do no cars. Just for a second. Oops. Yeah, this sounds like a locomotive in distress. We're going 16 feet per second, which is not... It's fast for the Disneyland Railroad, but not fast. I've seen them go 20, 22 feet per second before. But with this much weight behind us, it's really difficult to do that. Plus, we're going around a sharp turn right now, so it slows the train down even more. We'll start speeding up now. And then we should derail at Main Street Station. And so it's not going to derail the way it would look in real life. It's going to derail the way it does in a video game that is not designed for derailing, so you'll see what I mean. K4RNA says, I wonder if my 24-core i9 13900K and the 4090 graphics... Oh, that is more than enough. Yeah, that is more than enough. Oh man, you can even see sometimes the smoke is ejecting out of the firebox. That's how bad this is. Alright, let's go. Oh no, we're gonna miss it. Come on. So it should derail at the next switch, right there. There we go. And it'll just keep going on and on and on. I think when it reaches the end of the map, it'll just kind of all bunch together and just kind of like wriggle around itself like a bunch of worms. But yeah, that's about what it does when it derails. And there's no fixing it. You have to quit the game and restart. So that's why I don't suggest, unless you really want to derail your train, that's why I don't suggest you do it, because, you know, then you have to work again at restarting the engine and all that. So it does do a lot. Not a Morning Dragon says, have the engine houses changed over the years? Well, I mean, most certainly. The original roundhouse for the train no longer exists. So this is it behind Frontierland. This is how it looked in 1955 and 1957. It was the engine house there, and then behind it was the car barn. And yeah, so they stopped using it when they built the new one that went next to It's a Small World in 1966. I had to think about that. 1966. And that permanently replaced this one. And then this one was demolished in 2015 when they built Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And now the other roundhouse remains behind Tomorrowland, where it's been since 1966. So, yeah. But the new roundhouse that's behind Tomorrowland also has the monorail storage above. So there's room for 4 trains below, 4 monorails above. Disneyland Railroad currently has 4 trains and 5 locomotives. So that would be number 1, C.K. Holliday. Number 2, E.P. Ripley. Number 3, Fred Gurley. Number 4, Ernest S. Marsh. Number 5, Ward Kimball. Those are the 5 locomotives. It's just going to keep going. So you can also cause the boiler to explode, but again, you don't see it. It's not made into graphics for the game. It just simulates an explosion by telling you the boiler exploded, and then your game stops. So I've blown up the boiler before by not paying attention several times when I was doing firing. The Mark Twain does go around the river. It's a pretty cool model of the Mark Twain. Sometimes it does weird things, like it's going this speed right now, but then like when it gets over here somewhere, it suddenly goes much faster. So it looks kind of weird, but it's pretty cool. And on occasion, you can do the whole little shave and a haircut thing with it, you know, doot 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 doot, you know. So sometimes you can do that. Doesn't always work. But yeah. Really like the simulator. It comes with a large manual, but I think studying how it all works and the accomplishment when you get the locomotive going makes it fun. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of techniques to running it that take a while to learn, but it's fun once you get it down. Not a Morning Dragon says, sad that they got rid of them. Is there anything left of them? God, they only got rid of one engine house. They didn't get rid of both. They only got rid of the one engine house. But no, it was completely demolished to make way for Galaxy's Edge. There's nothing left of the original. The new one that was built in '66 is still there. They still use it. It houses all the trains and locomotives. So yeah. Alright folks, it has been 2 hours, so I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this live stream. It's been really fun, and it's always fun to kind of play this simulator. I don't do it very often, obviously. Last time I did it was back in August, but it's a really fun simulator. And pretty soon, on March 3rd, you guys will see some new content featuring the new Titanic Honor and Glory version 2.0. So on the day of that it's released, you will see videos from me exploring version 2.0 on that day. So, and you'll get to see my reaction to it as well, because there's going to be a lot of changes made to it. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited. Quinn says, do they still use the Lily Bell? Yes, you can still find it on occasion attached to Holiday 5 as it goes around the park. Yeah, see you later, Chris. All right, folks, thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.